Dividing fractions is a really difficult concept. This can elude people who are in elementary school all the way up through high school. I've seen students not understand dividing fractions. So what I figured I would do is I would break down what it really means to divide fractions. So I'm going to start out with a problem and I'll walk you through it. Let's start out with 2/3 divided by, we'll say, 1/4. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to represent 2/3 in a picture. I like using pictures. Some people aren't visual learners, and that's fine. You don't have to be a visual learner, but I like seeing pictures. So you'll notice I'm representing 2/3 here by taking a box, cutting it into 3 pieces, and then I'm going to shade in 2 of them. That represents 2/3. Now I'm going to divide it by 1/4. Now remember, dividing means you're going to take something and split it into groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into fourths, because divided by a fourth. Now we're only concerned with one of those fourths right here at the top, one of those 4. So I notice I'm circling it. You can do that. I like to use X's too. Sometimes I do that. And now, what does this all mean? Okay, so we took our original piece, that was 2/3, we cut it into 4 pieces. When we did that, that shaded part here, that was no longer just 2/3, we cut it into pieces now. How many pieces do we cut up that shaded area into? Let's count it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, okay. So I'm going to write my answer is 8. So I've got was 8 shaded pieces. And then I'm concerned with 1/4. Remember how I circled just one of those 4 pieces I made? So how many pieces are in that 1/4? If I count those pieces, I'm going to use a different color here to do my counting. I'm going to go with, here we go. 1, 2, 3. So when I took 2/3 and divided it by a fourth, I ended up with 8/3. This is a neat little representation of dividing fractions. Let me show you another way too. I'm going to show you using another problem. Let's go with, let's say, 6/7, and we're going to divide it by, let's say, 3/4. Okay, so once again, I like to represent it using pictures. That's what I'm going to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got about 7 pieces here, and I'm going to color in 6 of those 7 pieces. That represents my 6/7. All right, so this is what I'm starting out with. Now I'm going to divide it by 3/4. So what that means is I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. So you notice I counted into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, right? And I'm concerned with 3 of those 4 pieces because this is 3/4. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm concerned with. All right. So now let's figure out what happened here. When I started out with 6/7, I cut that into fourths. So of that shaded area, how many new pieces do I have now? Instead of having 6 pieces, I cut it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And yes, I know there's an easier way to get there, but I think counting can be a great illustration, so I'm just showing you how you can get there. 24. All right. So now, out of those 24 pieces, let's see, how many pieces were in those 3/4, right? Because I divided it by 3/4. So now I can go across here. 1, and I'll use a different color to illustrate my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Excellent. 24 over 21. Now let's see. I know some of you old school mathematicians might be looking at this saying, wait a second, I know how to divide fractions. All you do is you take your original fraction and you multiply by the reciprocal. And you're not wrong. For reciprocal, we just take our denominator and we flip it and then we just multiply across. But look what happens. You get the same exact answer doing it that way. And this is why it works. That's really important. It's not just about memorizing how to get there, it's why it works. So why does it work? Because we start out with a fraction, and then we divide it into pieces, right? We divide it into 4 pieces, and then we're concerned with 3 of those pieces. And that's how we arrive at our answers. So this is a nice conceptual, visual model of how to divide fractions. And of course, you can use this to get to your algorithm or your rule of let's multiply by the reciprocal. But there's a reason for that, and this is what this video hopefully showed you.